Sorry, am I interrupting your TikToks?
You are.
Okay.
I'll watch it later.
Listen.
What?
We have a duty. Okay?
It's a duty.
We have a responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Week in and week out.
Mm-hmm.
All right? To provide something.
Yeah.
Something that is necessary for people to live.
Well, that's bad because we only deliver about 80% of the time.
We haven't missed... We missed one recording. Okay.
Okay.
You understand the weight that is on your shoulders?
I guess not.
Okay, well, maybe you should fucking humble yourself and get ready for this episode of SMSoup. Hello, everybody. Welcome to SMSoup, the number one podcast with soup in the name, but not on the brain. I am your humble Spencer.
Soup Lord.
Oh.
I'm Shelby.
And we are here to take you on a journey through life's biggest questions, moments, history, future, current. We ask the important questions. For example,
Waiter, how is this soup made?
waiter, how is this soup made? Great question, Shelby. Great question. And we ask questions like that and so much more, like, how was your week?
It was pretty good. It was a long week. Like, the fact that it's currently Sunday, I need it to be like Thursday right now so that I still have the weekend coming.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the reality of the situation.
Mm.
How was your week?
Retweet, girl.
Yeah.
That's how everybody feels.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Sunday. I wish it was Thursday. Yeah. You and 8 billion other people. I'm good. You know, same boat basically. Feel like I'm ready for my weekend and it's about to end.
Yep.
That's all right. You know, it
Is
is
it?
what it is.
I don't think it's all right.
Yeah.
I'd like to write a strongly worded letter to someone.
Okay.
Just tell me who I gotta write it to.
If you have the initiative to write the letter, I feel like you should have enough initiative to figure out who it needs to go to as well.
Nope.
Cool. We had an adventure. I don't know if we talked about it last week or not, but did you get it out?
I hope so.
Was that it?
I don't think so.
Am I boring you?
Yeah. It literally just hit me how tired I am.
We had like a 72-hour trip, basically.
Yeah.
We went to Boston.
Back to the bean.
Yeah, and we had the joy of travel, something that everybody's favorite thing is to travel. It's my entire personality, honestly. And
we went there on a vision quest. Nope, we didn't. It was business.
It literally like blew my mind. When traveling, the best part about it is watching how other people act
while
in
traveling
life.
Yeah.
And I feel like there are just so many questionable things that other people do that just like kind of blow my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Even though like I could be the one who's actually weird.
Well, I mean, I'm sure we've done shit that people are like, what the fuck?
Or what the fuck are those two people doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're in Charlotte. Flew to Boston. For those of you who don't know and don't have the capabilities of looking up, that is about a 2-hour flight.
Basically barely a flight.
The number of people who needed to use the bathroom on the plane was absurd both ways.
Yep.
And even more absurd was the number of people after we landed in Charlotte who needed to use the bathroom while the plane was landed, while people were getting off the plane. The person who was sitting in front of me, when it was his row's turn to leave, went, I got to get back to the bathroom. Insane.
Yeah.
That is insane behavior.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, needing to use the bathroom on a 2-hour flight, I get it. I have been prone to being asked, do you need to use the bathroom? And I go, no. And then about 15 minutes after leaving the rest stop, I now need to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm a bit of a toddler. But with the plane landed and the path has been cleared, and I was in the 35th row, mind you.
Yeah.
Out of 36. So this person was in the 34th row. There was nobody else on the plane. Just get off the plane.
Right.
Now I'm going to use the bathroom real quick. That is insane behavior.
Yeah, I mean, that happened as well when we landed in Boston. You and I were both the very last aisle or last row of the plane. And there was a line for the bathroom.
Yeah, people,
while we were on the ground waiting to get off.
Yeah. And that's also insane behavior, if you ask me. But I can somewhat understand, right? Again, 2-hour flight. Right at the beginning of the flight, you're all of a sudden like, oh, shit, I kind of have to pee. I think I can hold it. Now suddenly we land. It's taking forever to get the door open. And people in the aisles are standing when they don't need to stand, which is also one of my favorite things. And you're all of a sudden like, I'm not going to make it. I need to piss so bad. I should just use this bath. Like, I get it.
Yeah,
I
shit happens.
Still, again, insane behavior.
It felt like a very large amount of people.
It blew my mind with the open pathway, the thing you have been waiting for your entire life, the empty row, the empty aisle to get off of the airplane. And you're like, I'm ditching this to use that porcelain throne on this flight. Insane. Absolutely insane. We did not sit next to each other on either flight.
No.
My favorite thing was we were like two of the last people clearly to check in on the flight to Boston.
Yeah.
So we both got middle seat in the last row.
Yeah, row. You stop saying aisle.
So you were on the one side, I was on the other. We were both in the middle
of
those respective rows.
Yeah.
Checking in for our flight back to Charlotte. There were plenty of seats left. And you know how they try to upcharge you. $10, pick which seat you want. But like, I don't care enough to spend $10 because I'm cheap. So I like just go for it. I get an aisle seat, by random air quotes. Right. And I'm like, oh, sick. And the seat next to me was also open and it was the very back again. So I was thinking, and it was like the last available seat from the back going forward is what I'm getting at.
Right.
And so I'm thinking like, oh, nice. We might actually end up next to each other by random.
Right.
So I'm in row 35 and you go to check in and I'm like, what seat did you get? And you got row 15. The fuck is that? So you could sniff first class.
I could. I was only a few rows back. It was pretty
about
crazy.
6 rows back of first class, I think.
Yeah.
And we could have upgraded to first class for like $75.
Yeah. Which, let me tell you, I could definitely at one point be in a fucking mood to do that.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
For the leg room, for like, yeah, just getting off the plane quickly, which I'm not even a huge, like, get me off this plane right now. Like, I don't really care. I'm happy to sit and wait. But you do hit a weird point when you're in a group of people who they're all itching to get off. Mm-hmm. Even though you're like, you wanting to get off isn't going to make this any faster.
Right, exactly.
Like I feel you. I also don't love sitting here.
That's what's so
But like, I also can be realistic about what the situation is right now.
That's what always blows my mind.
Yeah.
Is that somebody like that person in row, again, 33.
Right.
Who's in the aisle and stands up immediately the second the door opens, or the second they say that they take off the fasten your seatbelt sign, because the door doesn't open right away. Right. That's why you end up like waiting, going like, what's happening? And you can't fucking see because there's a trillion people in the aisle.
Standing, yeah.
That person who stands up in row 33, it's like, do you think you're the only person who wants to get off this plane? Is that what's going through your head right now? Are you a fucking sociopath?
I have, yeah.
What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? And I get like maybe you just want to stretch your legs, but that's never it. They're always immediately trying to get up a few rows.
Right.
And it's just like there is no way around it. You're a piece of shit.
Also,
You're a piece of shit. And I don't care if you're in a rush.
Yeah.
I don't care like if you have a reason. I don't care if it's just like I really just hate being on the plane and I want to get off.
Pay
That's
for
fine.
a closer seat.
All of those things, you can have whatever reason you want. I don't hate you. Just know you're kind of a piece of shit. Like, it's such like, it's just the typical thing that goes on now where it's like so many people have, it's called like main character energy.
Yeah.
And like, I firmly believe the whole like, I can't die because I'm my own main character in my story.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean I make everybody else subject to that.
Right. No, yeah. I mean, I like don't like air travel. Like I don't like it. But also I see the benefit of it when necessary.
I mean, yeah.
But I'm just like, no one there is having a good time.
I hate
like, I think
everything around it.
Yeah, like I think you need to sit there and just be like, none of us are really having fun. We all just need to be like as chill as possible.
It's not the actual travel itself.
Right.
Like it's not the actual like takeoff land.
No.
It's literally
I just hate the
everything
experience
around it.
Yeah.
Everything leading up to the taking off, the middle.
Yeah.
Everything until you are officially off the plane.
Where you need to be. Yeah.
And honestly, bullshit of sometimes getting your luggage.
Out of the airport. Yeah. Honestly, I'm not happy until I'm out of the airport.
I cannot stand getting luggage.
Yeah.
Because it is also just an absolute shit show. Because everybody's just standing up along it. And it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Do you like that thing that's coming right there? Is that your piece of luggage? No? Then back the fuck away.
Yeah.
So Susie can fucking get her fucking shit. Like, what is wrong with you? But you don't understand, Spencer. If I don't push my way to the front, somebody else will take advantage of me and the fact that I'm sleeping and they're going to push themselves to the front and then I'm going to miss getting my bag. That's how everybody thinks.
Yes.
That is absolutely how everybody thinks. Everybody thinks that if I don't do this, somebody else is going to take advantage and do it. So I might as well just be the one to do it. And if you do that, I don't hate you. And you can have whatever reason you want. And you are valid in that reason. Just know you're kind of a piece of shit.
Traveling really brings out the worst in people. Because it's always about where you need to go. And never about the realization of we're all trying to get somewhere.
Is that a dig at me?
No.
Because that's the other thing. While we were walking around the airport, people walk so goddamn slow.
Which there's really no reason in like booking.
And you can walk whatever speed you want. And whatever reason you need to walk that speed is perfectly valid.
Unless
if
Spencer's
you walk
behind
in
you.
the middle of the fucking hallway, just know you're kind of a piece of shit. That is energy of like, I don't care that I'm in other people's way. I'm walking. If you're against the wall and people are getting mad at you, then I'm the piece of shit.
Right.
If I'm getting mad at somebody who's like up against the wall because they're giving space to get around them.
Right.
But that's not what was happening.
Yeah.
It's literally the equivalent of driving in the left lane on the highway and going exactly the speed limit. You can have whatever reason.
I like how you're mad at people for driving the speed limit.
If you're driving, if the speed limit's 55.
Yeah, I'm just saying like technically.
And you're going
fine.
55 in the left lane.
Oh, yes. I hear you.
You're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You can have whatever reason. And it's perfectly valid. But if you do it, just know you're kind of a piece of shit. I don't hate you. You're just a piece of shit.
He hates you.
Oh, man. But flying's great because it's quicker. It's
quick.
Technically the safest form of travel.
Yeah.
Like, I love that part of it.
Yeah.
I love the convenience part of how like fast it is. It's just that the actual travel part is fast. It's just all the other bullshit around it. Now, granted, we typically, I think, we always try to pack light when we, well, not when we drive, I guess.
Definitely.
Sometimes our car is very full.
Yeah. We overpack when we drive because we know we can.
But like normally, I would say that like we are the type of people who like can pack light, just sometimes choose not to. So when it comes to flying, like absolutely going to pack light. So like the idea is to try to never have a checked bag unless absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
Right? Because of that's just like an extra portion of the bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to get to security, and then you have to take off your shoes. And then you sometimes have to pull your laptop out, sometimes you don't.
I know. I really wish that was standardized. That's to me the most frustrating part.
Sometimes you have to let them do a cavity search. Sometimes you have to request it. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I, on the way back from Boston, simultaneously experienced 3 movies at the same time. And I enjoyed every second of it because now I have 2 movies that I never need to watch. One of them I probably never would have watched at all. But I sat there in my little aisle seat, which was great. I'm listening. What are you smirking at?
How did you jump to here so fast?
Because I want to talk about my plane experience.
There was no segue.
No, we're talking about planes. This is my plane experience.
Yeah.
This was fun for me. I had 2 hours to kill.
Yeah, no, it was just such an abrupt cutoff.
Well, was there something else you wanted to say?
No, I don't think so. It was seemingly no segue and just very quickly like, this is now what we're talking about.
Yeah, we're still talking about planes.
No, I know. I get that. I see the through line.
So I'm listening to The Hobbit.
Just know if you interrupt somebody when they're talking about going through security and how it's never the same.
Yeah.
To just start talking about your own story,
Mhm.
you're perfectly valid in doing that.
Yeah, you're just kind
And
of
I don't
a piece
hate
of
you.
shit.
Just know. You were watching The Hobbit.
I'm listening to The Hobbit. I don't have my phone in front of me. It is tucked in between my legs, so I'm only listening to it like it's a podcast. I cannot see the movie because I didn't feel like putting it in my the little holder thing in front of me. But I know the movie too well. I don't need to watch it. So I'm listening to The Hobbit. It's my music, we'll say. The first Hobbit. Kind of bummed they didn't have Lord of the Rings though. I'm watching the guy one in front of me to the right. I should have looked up the name of it.
65. It's the Adam Driver film.
Yeah, 65. And then the guy in front of him is watching from just looking at the screen, I'm going to assume it was a Middle Eastern film with English subtitles, if not English dubbing, but he was watching it with English subtitles. And so I got to sit there and experience that. And the 65 film did finish. I saw the whole thing. Pretty predictable. Another futuristic action movie, Film in front of him didn't finish. Couldn't tell you how long the movie was. Don't know how we didn't finish it because he was 10 seconds skipping for about 50% of the time. So I don't know how we didn't finish the movie. But so, like I was saying, I was like part of this experience. But somehow we didn't finish the movie. So it was really funny because you could pretty much get the gist of 65 just by glancing. Because again, very predictable futuristic action movie. And the movie in front of him, I could read the subtitles. So I was truly getting the movie. But he'd keep skipping every so often. So like I was getting just about as much of it as he was because clearly, I don't know, he'd seen it before or was interested enough to watch it, but not interested enough to actually just watch it. Couldn't tell you what was going on in that choice. But that was my 2 hours.
Okay. I also had a funny experience with the people who were like around me on the flight back to Charlotte.
Yeah.
The woman who was in the middle seat, it was her husband who was in the middle seat in front of
you
us.
guys, yeah.
And they like come in and I was already sitting, so I like got up to let her into her seat. And she like kind of made mention of like, that's my husband in front of me and he doesn't like flying and I wish I was sitting next to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was a ploy to get me to go, oh, I can swap with him.
Yeah.
But instead I went, oh, and then ignored her. They were watching the new Idris Elba show on Apple TV.
Did it look good?
I was trying not to watch it
Oh.
because I didn't want to spoil anything because
Bold.
they were probably like 3 or 4 episodes in.
Oh, shit.
But they were watching the same episode. I
Really?
did catch that. And like she was like 10 seconds ahead of him.
Yeah.
And they kept fucking poking each other. Like, she kept poking him and then just kind of being like, making a face like, whoa. You know, like a whoa face.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of like it. And she kept tapping him to like say something, or like just from the moment they sat down till the moment we had landed, it was just like little messages back and forth. And it was infuriating.
Yeah, I'd be annoyed if I was the guy.
And then this bitch, she was actually nice. I mean,
right.
she was just like your typical middle-aged woman who wants to be social, but nobody around her wants to be social. Because I'm miserable because I'm flying. No, I just don't want to talk to people.
Yeah, same.
I'm not miserable, I'd like to think. But anyway, I was watching Veep.
Oh.
Great show. I downloaded a couple episodes. This is perfect. I watched 4 or 5 episodes of Veep.
Yeah.
And so I was watching that. And at one point when the snack stuff came around, I like pulled out a headphone so I could like talk to the flight attendant and not ignore them.
Right.
And she like made a comment of like, I love that show. And I was like, oh yeah, it's really good. And then she said something that kind of offended me. She said, I have no idea how you're not cracking up. That show is so funny. Do not tell me how to react to content or media. All right?
Uh-huh.
Because yes, that show is fucking hilarious.
Right.
But also, I'm on an airplane.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go...
Yeah, because
I tried to move my mic away so it wasn't super loud.
Yeah.
Like, I was exhaling out of my nose a lot.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of times where I probably let out a light chuckle.
Right. Not enough. Yeah, I mean that
like, sorry lady. Sorry I'm not giving it my all.
I'm not.
Maybe she was an executive producer for the show.
That would have been
so
really
maybe
funny.
She was offended.
That would have been really funny.
I would have hoped if she would have said that, because then I would have actually probably
Or she would
fainted.
have been like, really, what do you think? I feel like she would have asked more like good questions.
I would have been like, it's incredible. Curb Your Enthusiasm's a little bit better.
Oh shit. I am not a big outward reaction to something I'm watching.
Especially if I'm watching something by myself.
Yeah.
Like normally it's like a weird paradigm, right?
Right.
Where I almost never vocally laugh.
Right.
Unless I'm with someone else.
Right. And even then, that's
and normally it's like it's like a building. It's like a multiplier effect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where like you like exhale or like let out a slight giggle or something, right? And I'm also, but then it's like, because we're both laughing, that also heightens the funniness or something.
Yes.
And, you know, whatever.
I would agree. Which I don't know.
It's very weird.
I mean, I think I don't know if I couldn't actually say if this like is true or not true, but like that probably has to do with like the level of media you intake, because like I do think after a point you probably are just like, you're like, wow, that was funny, but you don't need to like outwardly react, because you're just like, oh, funny thing number 8 I've seen today. Like, you know, I don't think there's as much of like a need to react to what you're doing, because you see so much. And again, I don't know if that's true. That's me just totally like guessing. But like, I do feel like there is a bit of a difference in terms of like, I just don't outwardly super react to what I'm watching.
I don't think I
don't really notice people our age doing it at all.
If I'm by myself, I very rarely laugh.
Right.
And if something that's kind of like a barometer to tell if something's like really funny. Because if it gets me to actually like let out an audible laugh, that means it like caught me off guard and like was actually like well timed or whatever, right?
Right.
Like, but I watched tons of comedy things, and
it is almost funny to think about, like, not that I would ever be in this situation, but like you're creating a comedy set or whatever, and you know tons of people are just gonna be totally just watching, not really much of a reaction. Just kind of.
But it's definitely like the social aspect of it. Like, there's somebody else around.
Yeah.
And it's like to let you know that I found this funny.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha. You know?
Yeah. I agree.
Anyway, so it kind of like caught me off and like really rubbed me the wrong way. Because it's just like, what is that? Like,
Well,
I
clearly
know
this
it's
person's a big reactionary person because they have to
I
tap
know it's
on.
harmless. I know she didn't really mean anything by it, but it was kind of just like
Yeah.
what possessed you to say that? Because it's like, why are you noticing how I'm reacting to media? That's kind of weird.
I guess, yeah.
It's like one thing to just notice that, like, I like glance and be like, oh, he's watching Veep. We
Good
can connect about
show.
this.
Yeah.
Veep's great. I love
Yeah.
it. You know, and then I can be like, yeah, me too.
Right.
But like,
Yeah.
I don't know how
yeah.
you're able to watch it. It's so funny. Like, okay. I don't know. Like, maybe because I can understand that there's a time and place.
Kind of along those lines, I do think there's something very funny about airplane watching because like people around you can see what you're watching.
Yeah.
And the weirdest thing to me to watch on a plane is like
Porn.
a horror
My bad.
movie.
Sorry, you go first.
Because I could literally never I just can't imagine like I just can't imagine being in public in such a condensed space and being like
Yeah.
like actively reacting to like something that just happened because of course it's like in your ears, like you're hearing everything you're supposed to be hearing and it's probably pretty loud because like sounds around you you're trying to block out if you don't have noise canceling stuff. I cannot fathom like trying to watch that in public. And like if I was behind you, I would probably be like, oh my God, what's happening? Like I would be like, I cannot
Right, but
believe
like
they're
if
watching
you're
that.
not listening, it
It's
makes
not
it
as
so much
scary.
easier to watch.
I know.
It's
And then
crazy.
I would take in the story and be like, cool, I never need to watch that movie.
So kind of along the same lines, like, yeah. So watching porn on a flight's really interesting
So
because
interesting. Everyone gathers around.
so I was watching Talladega Nights on the way to Boston, and I couldn't remember if there was like a scene. So I did remember there is a scene in Talladega Nights where this girl, like, to Ricky Bobby, lifts up her shirt.
Okay. Yeah.
And like flashes him.
Yeah.
And then like I knew there was a part where he like is signing autographs and like he signs a girl's breasts. But I couldn't remember if like you actually see anything or not. And so I was getting really nervous because I was just like,
yeah.
thankfully
It's a little
we were in the back
uncomfortable.
row, but like I did have just like an older woman next to me and just like a middle-aged man to the left of me. And like I was just kind of like, I don't really need titties to pop up on my phone right now and have
Right.
judgment from either of these people who have probably never watched Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
Or they have seen it and probably already were judging me. But
Yeah.
anyway, so like watching something on a plane, you're right. Because
Yeah.
people around you can see what you're watching. And so it's just like, are people judging me? And
You
like
have
you
to
get
be
in your
like-
head.
Yeah. You're kind of just aware of that.
I
whole
saw
time.
someone, we haven't done a What Have Spencer and Shelby watched in a while.
Because we haven't really watched anything.
Not 100% true. We just forget sometimes what we've watched because I saw somebody watching A Man Called Otto.
Oh.
And I always hear, I've never watched.
I almost rewatched that on the plane.
I almost did too. Very funny. The problem is people always say that watching emotional things on a flight is 10 times worse because something
You're
about
trying.
the altitude makes you like more emotional,
Really?
I guess.
I just don't want to cry on
So
a plane.
sometimes it hits you harder.
I know I'm going to cry regardless of the altitude.
So I thought that was insane watching somebody watch that because I was like, that person is emotionally more ruined than they have ever been in their lives because they are watching that movie, which emotionally ruins you.
Yeah, it does.
And they're on a flight.
Right.
I've always heard that. I've always
I
heard that
didn't- I've
emotions
never
run a
heard
little
that.
higher on a plane, but maybe not.
I think that's just because we're all mad that we're on a plane. No, I don't know.
It might just be because you're so isolated.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I've never heard that, but that's interesting.
But anyway.
No, I just wouldn't want to cry in front of everyone.
Yes, that too.
Like,
So, well, I mean, that was the main
That's
reason
why
I
I
didn't want to
didn't
because I
watch it.
definitely, I would have cried.
Yeah.
But anyway.
which let me tell you, if you liked A Man Called Otto, Otto, and you enjoy reading all of those books, I think his name is Frederick
Douglass.
I almost did say Frederick Douglass. All of his books are Frederick Bachman. His books are very good. For real, for real. If you liked the movie, the books are incredible. The book around it is incredible, and his other books are good too.
So anyway, that was flying.
Anyway, flying's fun.
While we were in Boston, we
Yeah.
did get to see Oppenheimer,
We did.
which we can talk about as well another time.
Yeah.
But all I'm going to say, since it's still fresh and like people may not have seen it yet, You should see it.
It is good.
Very good. I was saying to you last night,
Mm-hmm.
it might be my new favorite movie.
That's crazy.
It is so good. It is so good. But I don't want to like get
That
too
movie
into it.
is
I
gonna
don't
be
want to
the-
spoil
that movie.
a historical event.
That movie's gonna be the fucking worst on in-home TVs
Why?
because it's gonna blow out everyone's fucking speakers when you're trying to listen to them talking.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I don't think so.
I think it's gonna be the fucking worst.
I actually thought that was something that I thought was fairly good. It didn't feel like people were mumbling, and
Oh yeah, we were in a movie theater.
I know, but it didn't feel like the music was so outweighing it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like once it's at home, I think.
I mean, the
it's
music will
really
definitely be loud
annoying.
because that's just how everything is. But
Yeah.
I thought the balance was actually fairly good. And it's great. It's such a good movie.
It was a very good movie.
There's really nothing to complain about it, I think.
Yeah.
Like I think it's darn near like perfect in like in categories, right? And like looking at like from a critical point of view, like does it do this well? Does it do this well? Does it do this well? And then like the story's fairly fascinating, and everything was just hit so well.
Apparently, what's his name? Cillian Murphy.
Mhm.
All of his suits were handmade and for him. Like he's not wearing a single brand the entire movie.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I forget his hat was made from like some guy from some shop in like Texas or something. But yeah, all of his suits are like handmade, and he's not actually wearing high-waisted pants. That's his body.
Interesting.
And the proportions of the clothes, just because it makes it look like he's wearing high-waisted pants.
The overall budget of the movie was only $100 million.
Really?
Pretty crazy. So it's crushing. I mean,
Yeah.
it is a massive success already. Not very surprising, but
Right. Like everyone knew it was
the
going to do
budget itself, because Tenet which is Nolan's, I think, highest budget original idea. Because I think one of the Batman movies is his highest.
Gotcha.
But Tenet was $200 million budget. And I don't have any idea what happened in that movie. I think I need to rewatch it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But anyway, very good. Would recommend. And I look forward to being able to dive a bit deeper into it. But the thing that we are going to talk about in a minor Shelby Spencer SMSoup movie club thing is Mission Impossible 1. So if you didn't know, we are going through every single Mission Impossible movie because Mission Impossible is our favorite, like, I call it a garbage franchise. Like, it's
That's
not garbage.
I mean, it's my favorite action
It's really
series.
good, but it's like it's been around almost too much.
Yeah,
you know,
that's fair.
it's like we get it,
Yeah.
but yet we still love it.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things. Garbage isn't the right, but it's not like
I mean, it's just my favorite action series.
it's like a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because it's like there's 7. We shouldn't love it as much as we do, but it's so good. So anyway, we watched the first one. Next week we will talk about the second one. We're not going to go like overly into them.
No.
Just kind of doing quick hits. So, and we're going to rank them as we go. So far, what's your favorite? I'm going to say Mission Impossible 1.
Yeah, I guess I'd have to, huh?
This movie is not good.
Oh, but I love it.
It is not good. and I already know Mission Impossible 2 from looking at Rotten Tomatoes
I think
is
it's worse,
technically the
isn't it?
worst.
Yeah.
And I already know, like, just from that it's also going to be bad.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, how did they get away?
Because I
With
feel like
continuing
these
this
types of movies were
franchise.
just so popular, people didn't care.
I
They
guess.
had every classic fucking action thing in it.
The best
Like,
part?
How did it not be at least good? Like, I'm not saying it had to be the best at the time, but there's no way
Yeah,
it wasn't.
no, I hear
enjoyed
you.
by
I hear you.
most
And then Tom
people.
Cruise continued to blow up, and at that
Exactly.
point, he's allowed to do whatever he wants.
Right.
And then by the time 4 comes out and it's
Everyone's
like
like,
solid,
wait,
people
oh my
are
God,
like, "Oh
it's
my god,
good."
it's better because technology is better." All that, I
Right.
get it. The best part about it, it like falls into that like action movie trope, and especially when you retroactively watch a movie,
Yes.
like 12 years, 20 years,
20 years.
25 years,
Yes.
into the future
Yeah.
of knowing just cinema.
Yeah.
You see John Voight.
The older guy.
Mhm.
I don't know. his
I think
name.
it's John
I
Voight.
can look up the cast.
Double
if I
check.
have it.
You see John Voight, and spoilers, because this movie is 25 years old, and we're going to have at
We're gonna
least
have
minor
spoilers
spoilers
every
for
week.
every single one of these. John Voight's in it for
Yes,
like
John Voight.
15 minutes. Then he dies.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you immediately go, okay, he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Because you just know, like, you're just like, he has had such a career. You're not just going to have him in a movie for 15 minutes, most likely. And he has a history of playing villains and evil people and stuff like that. So it's just like, you just know. You don't know all of it, but you know he's not done in this movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's just so funny when you are able to, like, retroactively watch something that's been out for so long and, like, just know that.
My favorite thing about retroactively watching something is, at the time it came out like mid to late 90s. Obviously it's a techie, they work for a high level government agency, they're supposed to have access to the best tech in the world, but it's like you're watching in 2023 and yeah, they're still using fucking floppy disks and like, or just the tech they've like made up to be like, listen, this is so fucking cool.
Yeah.
And you're like, but you know, in 2023, like that's nothing impressive from like now all the shit that's like created. Again, whether fictional or not. So it's so funny. They're like, we have this gum that if you push it together
and throw
it's gonna blow up in
explode.
5 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that, and then also
It's my favorite.
Because special effects are nowhere near what they are today. The way in which people die is fucking insane.
Amazing. Yes.
So like, you have that helicopter crash, which just looks like dog shit.
But it's so
it looks
funny.
so bad.
It's so funny.
And like, some of that is also just like, it doesn't transfer well to like HD TVs and like stuff like that. Like, I get it.
I don't actually care. I think it's really funny.
No, but like, that's the charm of anything made,
Yes.
at least pre-2000 and honestly some early 2000 stuff where
Right.
like, it's like, this is just what we had to do. And like,
Yeah.
this is the best we could do. And at the time you were like, well, that was insane.
Yeah.
And like, it tricked your eyes.
Yeah.
But you watch it now and you're so used to this hyper realistic stuff that you're just like, you're not fooling anybody with that.
It's so funny.
But like, Emilio Estevez is randomly in this movie, and I'm like, I did not remember him being in Mission Impossible. And then he dies within like the first 15 minutes, and it's gruesome how he dies. Because it's like they show too much almost.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck? Yeah. But it also looked kind of like shit. It was great. Amazing. The movie itself, though, is like, it does not hold up, I will say.
It does not.
And it's like, yeah, it's low-key surprising. Again, knowing I really only remember Fallout anymore because that's just the most recent. I remember bits and pieces of the other ones. But just like knowing that this is how it started and we got Fallout is just insane. Like, it's insane.
You have to be happy about the arc.
It's insane.
Of it all.
It's insane how this is how it started and that's where it had ended.
Yes.
Until now.
Yes.
Dead. What's the new one? Dead Reckoning. I think so. I think it's Dead Reckoning. Part 1.
Give me a second. There's too many to go through.
I think it's Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Yep, you're right. Congratulations.
I
like that they show them all with these, like, if you like Google the series, they have nice stylized covers until the newest one, which I know they'll probably change it, but
it's not bad, like you said.
It's not bad.
It's
you
like,
can sit there and recognize
it's a spy movie. Yeah, exactly.
Movie. But again, if anything, I love it because of what it is now. Like, you can literally,
it's a little charming.
Yeah, like, you're like, oh my god, like, this was the first Mission Impossible, and like, if you put the two next to each other, they wouldn't even fucking look like they're connected.
Yeah.
Besides the fact that obviously Ethan Hunt is still the main character. I'm really excited to watch through them because I took, I'll say in very huge air quotes, notes. I wrote 3 things. One, I put, why does Tom Cruise need to look like he's about to make out with every woman he interacts with? Because I swear that happens in all the movies. And they like hint at it. It's like a hint throughout every fucking film. Like, literally in Mission Impossible 1, the guy you said,
John Voight,
his character dies immediately. And his wife is also a part of their team. And they literally play up that, like, ooh,
the sexual
do
tension.
they have a thing? Don't they have a thing? But the whole time she's like, he's my husband. And I'm like, what? Like, this is just stupid. Like, this does annoy me about his action movies because I feel like there's always a really dumb will they, won't they. it's not always a guarantee that they will, which I guess is at least different because normally in will they, won't they, it always turns into they do. But I find it to be really annoying because I'm literally like, she's literally married. Her whole plot line as a character is I need to get revenge on my husband.
Mm-hmm.
And then like whatever.
Also acting like I think it's a little insane to act like Tom Cruise is like this heartthrob because he's really not like
right.
He's not bad looking.
No.
But he's not like drop dead.
Right.
And so it's like it's just one of those things where it's like, well, it's because he's a secret agent, so he's got to bag a woman everywhere he goes.
Right, because that's sort the whole deal. Thing.
I was also surprised that
I made a note that Tom Cruise was 34 at the time of filming that movie.
Crazy, because he looks pretty young.
He literally does. I would have guessed like just under 30.
Yeah.
With how he looked. And last I put, which this was going to be my comment, I love Luther because I'm really excited to slowly see the team come together because the team is amazing. And like by like halfway through the franchise, like the team is just as important as Ethan Hunt.
Oh yeah.
Obviously. But like I love them. I'm like so excited to watch the characters keep coming in and like I know who sticks around and like I'm just really excited about it.
I was surprised that Ethan Hunt's wife wasn't in the first movie. I thought she was. I thought she was in like all of them basically.
Yeah, and I thought so too.
She's not in the first and now I'm like, is she in the second or is she really only in the third as like the leverage?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I'm gonna hurt her. I can't wait. I can't wait for Philip Seymour Hoffman. Oh my god. R.I.P. A legend. Yeah, I'm really excited to watch them. I'm excited to rank them as we go too, to see how things shake up versus public opinion. You know?
Yes.
But
I mean, I'm gonna be horribly biased and love them all probably in some way.
Well, but you are gonna have to make the decision between 6 and 1, which one's better.
I know.
But I'm excited to watch through them as well.
It's
gonna be fun.
It is going to be fun.
Recommend, not recommend. I don't know what I was saying. But so that was Mission Impossible 1.
Yeah.
Didn't get really too into it, you know. But
you know, you learn who Ethan Hunt is. You learn he's an INF agent.
Yep.
You learn that
they
INF is
they think he's a rogue agent, like always.
Yeah, it immediately starts off with it must be Ethan Hunt, which is so funny now to think about. There are 8 movies.
Doesn't this like always happen?
Yes.
It's literally every movie where they think like,
yeah,
this is the time he finally did go rogue.
I know, like what? Like I don't even think there's something in his history that would make you think that. Like not
this one was just simply that
he was the last one.
People knew
alive.
People knew about the drop.
Yeah.
And he was the only one alive, so there had to be a rat and bingo bongo, he's the rat.
But it is so funny that is the storyline they keep going with. Is clearly he is
right, like I think that, but I don't actually remember.
Maybe like maybe about halfway through when they're so focused on that other guy being the baddie, that I think he's just on the run. I don't think INF is after him, but I could totally be wrong. But anyway,
I don't know.
It's way too overplayed. Like I immediately was like, oh god, this is the storyline for probably half the films is that he's been pinned for something and he has to prove it wasn't him.
Maybe we're just misremembering though.
Maybe that's fine, but it is very funny if that is the case. If that's the case for more than 2 movies, it's been overdone.
Yeah, I agree. Especially in yes. Especially because it's going to have been, I can't remember 6 if he's also like framed.
I feel like he's framed a lot.
But if he is in 6 and it happens anywhere else, like if say it happens in 3, which I don't think it does. But say it happens in 3, it's like you did it twice in 3 movies.
Too many. You did too many.
If it happens in 4, you did it twice in 4 movies, which 4 is like a soft reboot technically.
Right.
So maybe they do it in 4, which would be really funny. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it.
I'm also looking forward to it.
That's Mission Impossible 1. Be sure to watch Mission Impossible 2 if you don't want to spoil and you want to partake in the conversation while we're talking about it, even though we're not listening to you. Make sure you watch it before next week because we will be talking about it then.
They are all on Paramount Plus if you're looking for them.
Yes, as we ramp up to watch Dead Reckoning.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And maybe the episode where we talk about Dead Reckoning, we will talk about the other stuff we've been watching.
Yeah. Yeah.
That should be well timed.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Peace.
Oh, okay.
Oh, was there something else?
No, I was just. Is that how you really want to end it?
I guess.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
See you next week.